Hello friends and welcome to yet another exhilarating video of Wisdom Zone, and this is Shubro, and today I'm quite sure you have already guessed it from the thumbnail. I have the fourth session of common English idioms, and today also I am going to discuss some common and interesting idioms which you can use in your everyday English conversation. So watch this video carefully until the end and do not skip it so that you can learn the right use of idioms. And again, it is my request to all the viewers who haven't subscribed to this channel, please do not wait and subscribe to Wisdom Zone and hit the bell icon to get the first notification of a new video. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. 3, 2, 1. So friends, welcome back once again to the fourth session of common English idioms, and today also, as I already promised, I'm going to discuss some interesting and useful idioms which you can use in your everyday English conversation. So before I move forward, let me remind all the viewers that I have provided the links of the previous three videos in the description. Please go through all the three videos on common English idioms and you'll be able to learn so many idioms from those videos. And apart from that, do not forget to check the short section of this channel where you'll get so many interesting short videos on idioms, and do not forget to check the short section of Wisdom Zone also. Before I move ahead, let me tell you that the idioms which I'm going to discuss, they are quite interesting and you can incorporate them in your everyday life. And let me tell you that people who are preparing for different examinations like IELTS or TOEFL, you can also use all these idioms for test. If you're going to appear for IELTS speaking, you can use these idioms and sound more dynamic and confident in your speaking test. And apart from that, you can use in your everyday English conversation also to sound more charismatic. So without wasting any more time, let's begin today's discussion. As you see friends, the first idiom which we have for today is no hard feelings. No hard feelings. Obviously this idiom is quite useful in our everyday English conversation. No hard feelings. This idiom means no feelings of resentment or bitterness. Yeah, that means maybe something happened but you don't have any feeling of bitterness or resentment. So let's see how to use this beautiful idiom. This year my colleague Sam got promoted, but I have no hard feelings about it. That means I don't have any jealousy or I don't have any bitterness about this particular matter that my colleague got promoted. So that's why I can use this idiom, no hard feelings, as my colleague Sam got promoted. I'm quite sure it's clear how to use it. So let's turn our attention towards the second useful and commonly used idiom, that is take to one's heels. Take to one's heels is a very useful one in everyday English conversation. It means to run away from a place. So let's see how to use this beautiful idiom.
The burglars took to their heels when they saw the police officer coming.
That means they ran away from that place when they saw the police officer. That's the way you can use this idiom and express your opinion beautifully, isn't that? So up next, let's focus on the third useful idiom for today, that is put your foot in it. Put your foot in it means to accidentally say something which embarrasses or upsets someone. So by mistake or accidentally you say something which you may not be aware that may offend someone or upset someone. Let's see how to use it. As you see the example, I really put my foot in it by asking Sam about his job, not knowing the fact he was sacked 1 week ago. I put my foot in it here means that I unintentionally asked him an embarrassing question. Understood? So that's the meaning of this idiom. When you accidentally ask someone something that is really embarrassing for that person, that time you can use this idiom, put your foot in it. That means something embarrassing. Understood? And the person may feel slightly upset about it. And in American English, this version is used put your foot in your mouth, and in normal sense we use put your foot in it. So I'm quite sure it's clear. So up next, let's turn our attention towards the fourth useful idiom for today, that is
The fourth idiom for today is on your screen. The fourth idiom is the proof of the pudding is in the eating. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. It means you can only know the quality of something only after you have used it. So that's the meaning of this beautiful idiom. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. So let's see how to use this wonderful idiom. We are offering you 30-day trial because we believe that the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
So that's the way you can put it. The proof of the pudding is in the eating means that when you tend to use something, you understand the quality. So up next, we are going to focus on the fifth one, which you see on your screen. The fifth idiom for today is go from bad to worse. This idiom go from bad to worse means a bad situation becomes worse. Sam has been facing some family issues, but his condition has gone from bad to worse in the last 3 years. Okay, that means his condition has deteriorated. Understood? In the last 3 years. That's why this idiom is used. Go from bad to worse, right? So here I have changed the tense slightly. So you can also use like this. His condition has gone from bad to worse. Okay. So up next, let's move on to the sixth idiom for today. That is, it takes two to tango, which sounds quite interesting, isn't that? It's a very useful idiom. It means for an argument, both the parties are responsible. If an argument is going on or happens, both the individuals are responsible for the argument, not only one person. So let's see how to use it. Jane blames her husband for the dispute, but it takes two to tango, right? So Jane thinks that her husband is responsible for the dispute, but obviously you all know that she is also equally responsible, perhaps, because both the people are involved in the argument, both are responsible for the argument, because it takes two to tango. So up next, let's turn our attention towards the seventh idiom for today, that is to stand up and be counted, which is extremely useful one. To stand up and be counted means to openly and publicly support someone or something without fear. Okay, so let's see how to use it. Most of his supporters have the courage to stand up and be counted. That means most of his supporters have the courage to support him openly without any fear. Understood? So like this way you can use this beautiful idiom. So up next, let's turn our attention towards the eighth idiom for today, that is blow something out of proportion. It is quite a handy idiom, so let me explain the meaning. It means to make a problem look more serious than it is. In reality, maybe the problem is not that big, but you make it look more serious and make it look bigger. That's time we use this idiom, blow something out of proportion. So let's see how to use this wonderful idiom. Ron had a small dispute with his manager, but his manager is blowing the matter out of proportion. That means his manager is trying to make that matter look serious. Perhaps he wants to create an issue so that Ron is terminated. Maybe he has some wrong intentions, right? So he's trying to make that dispute look bigger and more serious. I'm quite sure it's crystal clear how to use this beautiful idiom. So up next, we are going to focus on the ninth idiom, which is extremely interesting, which is a fascinating idiom on its own, as you see. That is a bitter pill to swallow. A bitter pill to swallow is a very useful idiom. Let me explain the meaning. A bitter pill to swallow means something unpleasant that must be accepted, because you don't have option, you have to accept it. Something unpleasant that has happened, but you have to accept it. So let's see how to use it. Failing to get a promotion this year was a bitter pill to swallow. It was a very bitter thing, it was a very unpleasant thing, but obviously one has to accept this type of failure also. That's why you can use this idiom here, a bitter pill to swallow. I'm quite sure it's crystal clear. So up next, we are going to turn our attention towards the last idiom for today, that is lock, stock and barrel. Lock, stock and barrel, isn't that a fascinating idiom? It sounds quite exciting, isn't that? Let me explain you the meaning. It means including everything or completely. Okay, everything together completely. That time we say the lock, stock and barrel. That means including everything, nothing is left, completely, all together. Okay, so let's see how to use this beautiful idiom. Sam has become a bankrupt. He decided to sell his property, lock, stock and barrel. That means he has decided to sell his entire property because he has become bankrupt. He doesn't want to leave anything because he has decided to sell everything he has. Understood? So like this way you can use this beautiful idiom, lock, stock and barrel. So today again I have discussed 10 useful and commonly used idioms. Maybe some of them you do not know, and I'm quite sure it's crystal clear now. Try to incorporate them in your everyday English conversation. If you are preparing for IELTS speaking test, use these idioms. That's going to give you a new dimension. It's going to create a good impression in front of the interviewer, and also you can use these idioms in your everyday English conversation also to become more dynamic, to sound more proficient. And again, it is my request to all the viewers, try to make sentences and comment below. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do not wait. Subscribe to Wisdom Zone and immediately hit the bell icon so that you don't miss a single video from this channel, because this series is also going to continue. So stay tuned for further informative videos, and do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to Wisdom Zone.